Hello everyone and welcome to my very first video of 2024. I did put up a video, I think it was on January 1st. However, that was recorded before I left for vacation. So this is technically my very first video that I'm recording in 2024. And this is actually a video I wanted to put out before I left for my 10-day trip. However, I just didn't get the opportunity to do it, so I'm doing it now. I don't believe I am the only creator who is still continuing to post best of 2023 videos. So with this video, I have decided to share with you my top 20 makeup releases of the year. In the other best of the year videos I've posted, I did best drugstore makeup, and I also did, I think, my best Sephora purchases of the year, but those weren't necessarily only new makeup releases. Everything that I will be talking about today came out or was released in 2023. So let's get into it. By the way, if this is your first time here, my name is Risa, and I have been creating beauty, fashion, and lifestyle videos here on YouTube for over 8 years. Before I started on that journey, I was a professional makeup artist for more than 20 years. I did bridal makeup, I did editorial makeup. I spent my entire career working on people of all ages, all races, and I feel like that gives me a very unique perspective and ability to share my tips and tricks and techniques with you all, especially now that I'm starting out a new decade of my 50s, which I think, as we all know, comes with some new and unique challenges that we may not have had when it came to skincare and makeup in our 20s and 30s and even early 40s. So that's a little bit about me, and now we're definitely going to get started. All right, why don't we start off strong with foundations and concealers? This was kind of a tough one because there were so many foundation and concealer launches in 2023. When selecting these products, I just narrowed it down to the ones that I found myself reaching for over and over all of the others. For instance, the Natasha Denona concealer. This is my top concealer of the year. I think I also had this as number 1 in my ranking my top Sephora purchases video. I also enjoyed some of the other concealers that came out this year, like the House Labs, but there was something about each one that made it so I just didn't reach for it that often. And it could be something as small as, for example, with the House Labs, the wand always caught on the end of the packaging. So it's almost like the applicator is too big for the opening. There's just something about that kind of annoyed me. And I actually recently saw a creator, I think it might have been over on TikTok, who said that hers actually broke off. If you ever tried one of those Tom Ford liquid lipsticks, they have the same kind of issue where you would pull out the wand, the applicator, and it would just get stuck, and sometimes they would break off. And who wants to spend all that money to have the applicator break off? So while I do think it's a good concealer, I don't reach for it that much simply for that reason. So the Natasha Denona was hands down my favorite concealer of the year. It's creamy, it's hydrating. I was about to say the shade selection. The shade selection is excellent. A little bit goes a long way. And then another favorite new release of the year for concealer is the YSL All Hours. This offers very similar coverage to the Natasha Denona. I find it also to be very creamy, high coverage, long lasting. But what I really like about this one is that I find it's a little bit more user-friendly. Not that this one isn't user-friendly. What I mean is that I have a tendency to use too much of this product. It's so highly concentrated and so creamy that even one dot underneath my eye, I can basically blend out my entire eye area. I can almost do 2 eyes with one little dot. Now, some of you may be thinking, Risa, that sounds amazing. You get a lot more for your money when the product is that concentrated and you don't have to use so much. Well, yes, I agree with that. However, especially when you have mature skin, sometimes all that creaminess and coverage, if it's too much and it goes too wrong too quickly, it's going to start accentuating those things that we don't want accentuated, like fine lines. It also makes it more prone to creasing. So if you think you can be very, very careful with your concealer, or maybe you want to just use it as a foundation, then I would recommend the Natasha Denona. If you are a little bit more heavy-handed with your makeup, but you still want that coverage and longevity and a really great applicator as well, when I put this on, I'm gonna put a little bit more on right now. You can see that little dot. With the Natasha Denona, I would be able to spread this around my entire eye, down the sides of my nose, everywhere. With this, it kind of just stays right there. But you know what? It still works. And some days I just really like that. I just wanna put a little product under my eyes and quickly pat out with my finger and be done. I don't have to worry about blending so much. So these two concealers are my favorites of 2023. When it comes to foundation, I want you to keep in mind, again, if this is your first time here, I do have very, very oily skin. So the reason why this is relevant is because my two favorites have a little bit more coverage. They're a little bit more of a satin or matte finish versus a hydrating, dewy finish. So if you follow any other beauty content creators that have dry or very dry skin, these most likely, the two I'm about to share with you, most likely did not make their best of 2023 list. Starting off with the more polarizing of the two, which is the Lancome, the newly reformulated, well, not so new anymore. They reformulated it back in April, launched the reformulation back in April. This is the Tanti Dole Ultra Wear. And I said this at the time, and I'm going to say it again. With any foundation that gets reformulated, I have been in the business so long, I've seen it happen over and over and over again. If somebody loves a product, say it's their Holy Grail foundation, and it gets reformulated, 99% of the time, they dislike the new formula because they felt like it didn't need to be changed. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, so they get angry. And a lot of times when that new product is released in the new formula, the initial reviews are just, how could you? I'm so angry, it was so great, the new one is awful. And that's kind of what happened with this one. I feel like it gives even a little bit more coverage than the original, which I personally like, some other people don't. It's still extremely long wearing like it always has been. The shades have changed a little bit. They expanded the shade range, but it is a little bit more difficult to find your exact match now in this foundation, especially if you wore it before and you're trying to figure out what correlates with your old shade. But the great thing about Lancome is that they will give you, whether you're at a Lancome counter, at Ulta, Sephora, you will be able to get a color match, and they can give you samples of several shades. I think the first time I went to go try this foundation, the sales associate gave me 5 different shades. And I do have a video comparing the old formula to the new formula that I posted, I think, back in April or May, that I will have linked down below in the description box. Another video I did this year was a comparison between the Estee Lauder Double Wear, which has been a holy grail of mine for years, with the new Smashbox Always On Skin Balancing Foundation. In that video, I led with the idea that it might be better than the Estee Lauder Double Wear. And that was also a little polarizing. Some people totally agreed with me, and other people said, absolutely not. Estee Lauder Double Wear cannot be beat. It has not been dethroned. You're crazy. Well, let me tell you a little bit why I feel like this one is better. The color range, well, actually I'm going to start with why it's not better in some ways. Well, the only thing I think that's not better about this is the shade selection. It needs improvement, but Estee Lauder Double Wear needed improvement for a long time. Honestly, it was years before I could find an exact shade match in that foundation. So, aside from the fact that the shade range needs improvement, the pros of the Always On is that I feel that it looks more natural on my skin. I tended to wear the Estee Lauder Double Wear to events or when I had an activity that was going to be all day, you know, 10, 12 hours, but nothing outdoors or nothing in harsh light, only because I felt like it just didn't look that natural. Yes, you can apply Estee Lauder Double Wear in a manner to make it look more natural in those lights, but if you are someone like me who is still looking for that coverage, if you diluted it in any way, say by mixing it in with a moisturizer or using a damp beauty blender, the coverage was, you know, a little less. So basically, in my opinion, I feel like this one gives me that coverage without feeling tight or heavy, and it looks a little bit more natural in all lighting situations. The only struggle I think you're going to have once again is finding a shade match, which is a big bummer. So Smashbox, if you're listening, you are a brand that was started by a photo studio, Smashbox Studios. Well, they know this. I'm letting you know that the grandsons of Max Factor, I think we all know who Max Factor is, started Smashbox years and years ago. So you would think that they would have one of the most broad shade ranges out there, and they don't. So hopefully that will improve. So that's foundation and concealers. Let's move on to some contour products and my first drugstore product. I got this product after I had already filmed my best drugstore makeup of the year video. Otherwise, it would have been included. I think I showed this in my testing hot new makeup for December video. This is the Milani Cheek Kiss Cream Bronzer. In that video, and again today, I used the shade Spilling Tea. This is an excellent cream bronzer. Spilling Tea is a very beautiful, naturally tan shade. It blends like a dream onto your skin. It doesn't look unnatural. I do go over all of my cream bronzer or contour products with a powder product. That's because, once again, I have oily skin, and those oils tend to, what I often say, eat up my makeup. So to get the most longevity out of a cream product on oily skin, I like to set it with a powder. And this one is an excellent cream bronzer at a really excellent price point. If you want to spend a little bit more, well, probably double, but this next product gives you not only your cream bronzer / contour, you also get a powder bronzer. And this is the Give by Gwen Stefani Pick It Up Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. I have two shades. Toastin is for when I am my current skin tone, and I use Smokin', which is a little bit darker, as you can see, when I have self-tanned and I'm using a darker foundation to match. They both smell like the beach, so if you don't like sort of that suntan lotion-y smell, then I would pass on these, but they're excellent. I'll be honest with you, when this brand first came out, I really wasn't that interested in it. I think I bought maybe 1 or 2 lip products and I wasn't all that impressed. But then when they came out with these contour bronzer duos as well as their blushes, which I'm going to get to momentarily, that's when I started to get more into the line and become more impressed with a lot of their complexion products. And these duos are definitely ones that I would highly recommend. So since we're talking about Give, let's talk about their blushes as well and all the other blush favorites I had in 2023. All right, you can see I have 4. I bought 4. I actually have 1 more, the bright pink one called Ex-Girlfriend, that I seem to have misplaced, and I'm really bummed about it because that is one of my favorites. It's this beautiful bubblegum pink. But I have Crush on You, which is a beautiful mauve-y shade. I don't wear this one all that often, but I'm sure it would look gorgeous on dark skin. Lasting Love is one of my favorites. I would say after Ex-Girlfriend, Lasting Love is my next favorite because it has these 2 shades of just beautiful corally pink. One has a little bit more shimmer, one's a little bit more matte. The color payoff, great. The blendability, excellent. The longevity, excellent. This is Stars Aligned, which is a really nice neutral duo. And then this is Flirty Talk, which is a peachy blush. I do love a peachy blush as well. All right, products 8, 9, and 10 are also blushes. These are the Too Faced Cloud Crush blushes. I also bought 4 of these and seem to have misplaced one. One of the things I like the most about them is that they truly are one of the longest wearing blushes I have ever used. The one I currently have on is called Golden Hour. I'm going to add a little bit more. The color payoff is incredible, and the longevity is fantastic as well. So I would say Golden Hour is my first favorite, my number 1 favorite, and then Tequila Sunrise or Tequila Sunset. I didn't bring my glasses in here. It's a peachy, corally peach, and then this baby pink that went viral on TikTok when it was first launched, and it was very, very difficult to find. This is called Candy Clouds. Now this next set of blushes was actually sent to me in a PR package. They launched early in 2023 because Essence is a really easily accessible, affordable brand, and these baked blushes are amazing. And they're especially great if you like a blush that has a little bit of a glow to it, sort of a highlight blush combo, but not so glowy that it's going to accentuate any fine lines or pores or basically any of those things that we don't want accentuated. Well, most of us don't want. This particular shade called Bold Heart is gorgeous and I think would just be phenomenal on medium to deep skin tones. Not that fair, light skin tones can't wear it. You just have to be a little bit more careful with this one, but it is gorgeous. They're all gorgeous. Essence did a fabulous job with this launch. And now I'm going to go in completely the opposite direction and talk about a product that launched maybe 2 weeks before the end of the year. This is from Chanel. It is the Le Beige's Blush Belle Mine d'Hiver Healthy Winter Glow Blush. I was at a Chanel boutique maybe a couple of days before Christmas, and they had this collection. I swatched all 3 shades of the blushes that were in this collection. First of all, how gorgeous is this? Chanel does such a beautiful job with their packaging and their embossing. It almost makes it so you don't want to use it. But let me tell you, I have been using it. I was on an 8-night cruise, went to Miami a couple of days earlier, and I would say I reached for this blush 6 out of the 10 days I was away. And I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but I swatched all 3 shades in the collection, and I felt like this one was the most pigmented, and if I'm going to be spending this kind of money on a blush, I want some color payoff. This is definitely one of my favorite purchases of 2023 and maybe one of my favorite blushes of all time. All right, how about we talk about some lip products? Up first are these iconic London lip pencils. I posted a video, I believe it was over the summer, talking about underrated makeup, underrated brands, which I do a couple of times a year. And I know I spoke about these lip liners, lip pencils. Iconic London is a UK-based brand. You can, however, now find many of their products at Sephora. I also recently noticed that they were on the Revolve clothing website, actually on sale on the Revolve clothing website. And these lip liners were launched January of 2023. What I find so special and unique about these lip liners is the fact that they have this little sponge on the end that almost looks like what you would find on the back of an eyeliner pencil. If you remember Clinique, I don't know if they still do this, but they used to have these smudge sticks, I think they were called, and one side had the pencil and then the other side had a smudger. Well, a lot of eyeliners, I believe, had this smudger on the end. It's very rare to see a lip pencil with one of these. Typically you will see a lip brush, if anything. These are so creamy. They do not skip. I'm going very, very lightly because I already have some on and I don't want a bold lip liner. This particular shade is called Material Girl and it is the perfect nude, but there are shades for every skin tone. If you want one that's darker and more brown, they have that. If you want one that's more pink, they have that. And then once you've applied the lip liner, you just take the little smudger and smudge it out, so no harsh lines. Next up are these Lawless Forget the Filler Lip Plumping Line Smoothing Satin Cream Lipsticks. This formula really is fantastic, especially if you find that lipsticks have a tendency to settle into lines on the mouth, making them look aged and dry. These cover your lips in just one smooth swipe. They make the lips look very smooth. They also contain something called Maxi Lip, which does allegedly help improve or bring more volume to the lips. They're hydrating, they offer satin finish. They're vegan, they're cruelty-free, they're paraben-free. And it does say here on the website that with consistent use, lips are proven to increase the look of their volume and plumpness with fewer lip lines. I also adore these new lipsticks from Ravi Beauty, which is the new brand by my fellow beauty content creator here on YouTube, the beautiful and talented Allie Glines. These are called Effortless Lips. They come in 3 shades. They retail for $22. These have a very unique, sheer but buildable formula, meaning you can just do one swipe, which will just give you this very nice soft tint of color, or you can go over your lips a couple of times, and each time you do, it will increase the pigmentation and the color payoff. However, it will never feel heavy or gloopy or sticky on the lips. And I did not know this until just now, but these are crafted and hand poured in Italy. Now I know some of you are going to hate me for this next pick because I have gotten so many messages regarding this product from Maybelline. This is the Lifter Hyaluronic Plumping Gloss, the one that has, the newer one that has a little chili pepper on the side, that people have told me makes their lips sting like crazy to the point that they cannot even wear these. I used this, I think, also in December's Testing Hot New Makeup. And I mentioned that I didn't find the stinging to be that bad. And once again, people were like, Risa, you must have a very strong pain tolerance because they are brutal. But, you know, I looked at the reviews online and most of them are pretty good. I personally really like these glosses. I'm wearing one right now, which I thought I brought in here, but I guess I didn't, but I brought another one that I had been looking for and found it. This is actually my favorite color. It's called Peach Fever, and it's the one I demonstrated in that Testing Hot New Makeup video. It has a little bit more pigmentation than this pale pink one, but I'm going to put it over the pale pink one, and I will list the shade that I'm wearing in the description box. So if you like this one, it's the baby pink one. I can't believe I didn't bring it in. That's just so weird. I could have sworn I did. I love it so much. And I do think that it plumps my lips. I'm going in with a little bit more of a peachy, because that was peachier, lip liner instead of nude. I mean, look at that color. I think they're great. All right, why don't we talk about some palettes? I was originally going to include the Hourglass Ambient Lighting palette, the Leopard, but after doing some digging around online, I knew it was limited edition, but I thought maybe they would have some left in stock, that if someone never picked one up when they were first launched, I think back in October, November, if you didn't get one then, maybe you could get one now, but you can't. So I'm not going to make anybody feel badly that they didn't get it because it's not the end of the world. This palette is beautiful though. It came in 2 other color stories, or you could get whatever color story you wanted in whatever packaging you wanted. There was the jellyfish and I think the elephant. I may be getting confused. I'm not the biggest hourglass connoisseur like some people are, so I can't remember all of them. But I went for the leopard after doing some research, and I honestly wasn't going to get one at all until the hype got to me. And I'm really glad I got this. I took it with me on my cruise and it was very, very practical. So I do love these hourglass palettes, but that's not part of the 20 because I don't think unless you go on eBay, you could actually get one. And it's not that I want you to go run out and buy all of these things, but I know when I watch a video, if somebody's raving about something and they've really convinced me how great it is, many times I want to purchase it. I want to give it a try. And if I can't, that's sort of frustrating. So I'm going to share with you 3 palettes that you can get your hands on, 2 that I've spoken about. I think I had them in my best Sephora purchases of the year. And again, when I say purchases, I mean I went out and bought them. They were not sent to me. So the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions 3 All Matte Eyeshadow Palette. It's extremely practical. The quality is there. I like that you get 2 cream shades right here with a little plastic over the top. I posted a video comparing this all matte palette to the Makeup by Mario matte palette and the Kylie Cosmetics all matte palette. So if you're interested in seeing swatches and just getting a real in-depth review of this palette, I will link that video. And then there is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette, which is the one I am wearing today. The Natasha Denona quality is unmatched. Of course, not all of her shadows and all of her palettes are 10 out of 10, but I would say most of them are. Natasha Denona palettes are the only ones that I pretty much collect. I will buy almost every single one she comes out with. I have held off on buying the Xenon one that she launched late December or mid-December because that one I'm just not so sure about. It has a lot of grays and blacks. It just seemed like there were too many repetitive colors or shades, but if you want to convince me to get it, because I am somewhat of a Natasha Denona collector, let me know in the comments if you think I absolutely need to get it. All right, next, as many of you know, I adore and have raved about the ColourPop of Quartz eyeshadow palette for a long, long time now, a couple of years. Well, that one obviously did not launch in 2023, but this one did. And this is my next favorite ColourPop palette. Completely different color story. It is the 1111 palette. This palette gives me everything I need to do a beautiful daytime look, a beautiful nighttime look. Overall, I'd say it's pretty neutral. The browns are very neutral. There's not really any that are like a deep reddish brown. And if you're someone who likes a pop of shimmer on the lid like I do, you have the option of a gold, you have the option of a silver, you have the option of a sort of pinky tone. It's just stunning. And the fact that it's affordable makes it even better. Okay, I've only got 3 products left to talk about. This is the K18 Molecular Repair Hair Oil. I'm sure a lot of you know what K18 is. The first product was a treatment that you would put in your hair after shampooing. You do not use conditioner, you just put in the K18 and then you let it sit and then you blow dry your hair, and it's supposed to just revive damaged hair or distressed hair. And I thought that it worked pretty well. I liked it, but I just didn't love the idea of using it in place of my conditioner. And I don't know, there was just something about it. Maybe it's because I'm a creature of habit. I like to do shampoo and conditioner and then get out of the shower and put something in my hair. I don't like to switch things up that much, so that's just a me problem. But when they came out with the hair oil and I was told I could get the benefits of the K18 treatment in a method that I'm more used to, which is by applying it to my damp hair or putting a little bit on the ends of my hair when I've finished blow drying and styling it, I was sold. And I do believe that after using this for several months now, it really has helped manage my split ends. It takes down frizz. It makes my hair easier to blow dry. It's just a really, really excellent product. I do also really like the Virtue hair oil, but what I do like better, I got a hair now attached to the side of the bottle that I'm trying to get rid of. What I like about this one is that it's a little less greasy than the Virtue. So after I run it through my hair, I don't feel like I have to spend several minutes washing my hands, although the Virtue has a really nice smell to it, in my opinion. But I also know for a lot of people, any sort of scent is more of a turnoff than a positive. This one, I don't really smell anything, unless my sense of smell is going. It just smells kind of light and clean, but not heavy at all. Okay, moving on to this brush set from BK Beauty. This is the Nikki LaRose Pro Series brush set. It launched in November, I believe, late October, early November. And I have been a huge fan of Nikki for a long time. I had the pleasure of meeting her at a YouTube event back in October before I even knew that she was launching brushes with BK Beauty. She kept her lips sealed, just as I did when I had a collaboration with BK Beauty that I'm actually going to get to in a moment. So when I heard that she was doing something with BK Beauty, I was so excited. I asked her, I DM'd her, and I said, can you give me an idea? And both Lisa and Nikki were very tight-lipped. They would not tell me what it is, but it makes total sense. Nikki is a currently working celebrity makeup artist. She is just, I mean, there's a reason why her channel is just blowing up. It's just blowing up. She's amazing. Sweet person, extremely talented. Anyway, her brushes are also so good. As you can see, mine are already very well loved. Currently, you do have to buy them as a set, but I have seen Lisa J of BK Beauty respond to people who have asked if the brushes will be sold individually. She said early 2024. So hopefully they're coming soon. But I have to say this brush is probably my favorite. It is the N17. On one side, it is for liquid products, brush for liquid products, and then the other side is a brush for powder products. And I am a convert to using this for my foundation. As a lot of you know, I used to only use the Stands Out Beauty Sponge, which I do still really like, or I used the BK Beauty 101 brush. But this one makes it so easy. And it gives you, I think, a little bit of a lighter coverage than using either of those other two brushes. And I just never thought I would like a brush like this, but I adore it. I also never knew I would like a brush like this. This is the N16. I watched Nikki's demo of each brush, and she uses this not only for blending out concealer, which I do too now, she also uses it for nose contour. You just take the tip and go like this. And I had just never used a brush like this for nose contour before. Every brush is multi-purpose. Of course, you've got a great brush for blending out, you know, eyeshadow. I've been using this brush for either highlight, or you can use it to apply powder. I like to use a little brush like this to set my T-zone, but there's also a larger brush in the set that I've been using for bronzer. You can also use it for blush. And then you've got a nice little smudger brush. And then this is an angle precision brush that you can use if you want to get right under the base of the lashes. Nikki has several how-to videos on her channel, as I believe BK Beauty does as well. All right, the last product or item in my best makeup releases of 2023 video was not the original last product. I had no intention of putting in this shameless plug until I started reading some of my comments when I was on vacation from other videos. Because I hadn't put out a lot of content while I was away, I started just reading older comments from older videos. And something that I heard quite a bit actually was that I don't promote my own lashes enough. And if this is your first time here, you might not even know that I do have lashes with BK Beauty that I created in a collaboration with BK Beauty. And I have to tell you, the comments that I got were people saying, Risa, I know other content creators that have lashes or products and that's all they use, that's all they talk about. They talk about them in every video. And I do link my lashes in every single video I post. Since these launched in January, I have had them in the description box of every single video, unless it was a sponsored video by, say, Sephora or Ulta or Walmart or some brand that doesn't allow any links to products other than what's available at their store. But anytime you see me using lashes in a video, if I come back and I say, you know, I just added some corner lashes or something like that, they're always my lashes. But I don't wear the full strip. I cut them up. I today only have like 4 clusters on, and then sometimes I'll just use the other ones as individual clusters. Vegas, I already cut these, but I took these on my cruise, my vacation, which was over New Year's. So New Year's Eve, I wore these lashes. I wore them. I was on the Valiant Lady, which is a Virgin Voyages cruise ship, and they have something called Scarlet Night where everybody wears red and you get dressed up. So I wore my Vegas lashes. Where's Stiletto? Oh, here's some Stiletto. Oh, I love Stiletto too. I love them all, obviously I do. So if you're looking at these and you're thinking, oh my goodness, they look so long and dramatic, they're actually not. Just cut off some clusters on the ends, fit them to your eye. If you are still just overwhelmed or scared of trying false lashes, I have a video called the False Lash Masterclass that I believe after you watch, if you watch that entire video, you will feel like you can wear lashes. And then our best sellers have been the Martini lashes, which are the most perfect corner lashes, no trimming necessary. And I always get so excited when people tell me how many times they've reordered these lashes. So yeah, I guess it would be kind of silly of me to not mention my own product as one of the top releases of the year. I honestly cannot believe that it has been almost a full year since I launched those lashes. And we had been working on them for a year before that. So wow, time is just flying. So I hope you all enjoyed hearing about my top 20 picks for the best new makeup releases of 2023. I cannot wait to see what 2024 has in store for us. One of my next videos is going to be one of my next makeup videos is going to be a testing hot new makeup video because there's so much that has come out in the last couple of weeks that I'm dying to try. And then I'm also going to throw in a video review of my cruise. A lot of people told me over on Instagram that they would love to know my thoughts on the cruise experience, that ship specifically, that Virgin Voyages, the Valiant Lady, the itinerary, what to pack. I have taken a ton of notes, so I will be filming that video ASAP. As always, all of the products I spoke about will be listed and linked in the description box of this video. If you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to leave them for me in the comments. I do try to answer as many as I can. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. I do really appreciate that. And if you are not already subscribed to my channel, we are so close to hitting 400,000 1,000 people in the Risa Does Makeup family. So if you are not one of those people, we would love to have you. I would love to have you. So please do hit that subscribe button and join us. And that'll do it for this one. I look forward to seeing you all in my next video.